Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm working on the motor for this 2006 YFZ450. And you saw in the last video I just kind of went over what I got and was showing you everything I had for it and what it needed and all the stuff it did come with. But today we're going to put the motor together and hopefully get it into this quad. I don't have everything to complete the motor, but I can complete it once the motor's in there and the parts get here. I'm still waiting on a couple things, so I can just throw a side cover on, keep the dirt out of it, and actually get the motor installed and start putting in everything like the air box and all that good stuff, like my oil lines, my oil tank, the fans out of it. I can get that in there. I'll take you over to the motor. Here we have the motor right here. This side cover is off. I'm waiting on an oil pump, which this is a 2006 motor. I'm waiting for a 2007 YFZ oil pump, which is the high velocity oil pump. And if you're looking at them, they're pretty much the same besides these gears. On the 06 and older, they have 13 teeth. The 07 and newer, they have 12 teeth. So you get more oil pressure for when you do the oil mod, which I did on this one. It's underneath that cover, and I'll show you that in a minute. My phone's shaking a little. But I need to get the timing set on this, and timing chain's down there. New timing chain. I had to polish the cam journals on this, which are all oiled up now. When this motor blew up right here, one of the reasons was it was starved for oil. I have a picture pop up right now of what the oil pickup looked like inside of this motor. So you saw the oil pickup and it was plugged up solid, which I think it had something to do with this blowing up. And on the motor, the wrist pin seized and blew the motor up. But the motor was starved for oil, and these journals were all scarred up. I'll take a cam out. They had a bunch of scarring on the inside of these, so when I put the cams in to check my valve clearance and all that, I couldn't even hardly spin them by hand. They were tight. But I spent hours polishing them up, and I just did the one on the exhaust side. I didn't even check that one. I thought it was fine. It looked fine, but it was tight. But I got these all polished up now, oiled up. They spin freely. I checked them with my caliper and everything seems to be fine. The cams don't have any real heavy wear, so those are good to go. I'm going to get those put in and do the cam mod as well, which is just retarding the exhaust cam one tooth, which gives you a little bit more power on the top end. And what else? I got a couple seals I got to change yet. I didn't do it when I had the cases apart, but the one for the clutch lever and the one for the sprocket seal back there, I got to throw that on. But first, I'm going to get my cams in, get the timing set, get the valve cover on. That way this is all done. I'll get my stator cover on and get that all together, get my starter on, and I'll change those two seals. Also got a new starter for it. And what else? Oh, this I bought, show you. I bought the HotRods complete engine kit, so I got the bearings and seals and everything for this motor all in one kit. It uses the CP piston, which I got a stock bore piston, which is 12.5 to 1, I believe, compression, so I can run on race gas or just premium. HotRods crank bearings and all that good stuff, HotRods crank. And also the jug is a Athena, which the castings are alright. I'm not real impressed with it, but the insides of it are good. I just wish the casting on this was a little bit smoother. It's like almost like a sandblasted finish on this, but that's alright. All that matters is the cylinder on the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the cams in, and I'll show you what it looks like with the timing set, with the cam mod done when they're in. Alright, before I put the cams, or the timing chain on, I just want to show you these cams. It's not, I don't have the bolts, yeah, I don't have the bolts in it yet, and it's not cranked down. But before, when I just set it on there and click it in, before it was torqued down with the bolts in it, I couldn't even spin this cam gear. It was real tough. But if you're wondering how loose they should be, once you get them on, if you don't check them with a caliper, but once you get the cam caps on, you should be able to spin these freely like that. And obviously it's not going to spin all the way around because the decompression tool or lever is stopping it, and the cam lobes on the other side. But that's how they should be, nice and loose, spin freely. And if they're not, it's robbing horsepower and probably going to lead to bigger issues down the road. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get the cams in and get this timing all set up. Alright, so I have the cam caps on, the cams in, timing chain in, and timing chain tensioner all in, all set. So everything's good to go, and I did the cam mod on this, and I just wanted to show it on video. So we're at top dead center. That notch is top dead center. Also, if you have the motor out, you can look down and you can feel it where top dead center is. We have that set, and don't pay attention to the marks on the top here of the cams. Look at the cams, or the marks on the far right side. You can see this one is level with the head, and the book says to make this one level with the head, but when you do the cam mod, all you're doing is turning the exhaust cam one tooth back, and that gives you the cam mod, which is, I believe what I read, like the same as a WR450 dirt bike cam. They're set up. All it does is move your power band more towards the top end, which makes it feel faster. I think you might gain a couple horse, like 2 or 3 horsepower. But we have that done. And also, if you're wondering, you can see the cam lobes are pointing out this way. So if you're doing timing and you're getting confused, you can see mine for reference here. So we're at top dead center. Intake cam lobes are pointing out that way. Exhaust cam, they're pointing out that way. So they're spread away from each other. But that's how you do the cam mod. Just one tooth back on the exhaust cam. So you're rotating this closer to the intake. Now I'm going to put the valve cover on, and I'll get my new stator cover gasket, get that on, and I still got to change these few seals over here and get this ready, and I can also get the starter on. But obviously I can't put that side together yet, but I'm still going to put the quad, or the motor in the quad, and then when the oil pump shows up, put the rest of this stuff on it, and it'll be ready to go. So do what I can with what I got so far, and getting this thing a little bit closer to being out on the trails and in the dunes and all that. Alright, so it's been a few hours. It's like 90 degrees out. I haven't got the motor in this, but I got the head all together. That's all set. Stator, this whole side of the motor is done. Got these cool covers on here too, which this one needs polished up. And on this side, I'm waiting on the oil pump, so I just threw the inner case cover and threw this stuff on to keep dirt out of it for now. And I wanted to throw a little bit of polish on this and see how well it shines, which after a few minutes of elbow grease, you can see the cover looks good, and it'll look good in the quad. But for today, that's pretty much it on this YFZ450 build. Next time, I'm going to have the oil pump. I'm going to get that in. Hopefully I have it tomorrow. And we'll have this motor in this quad. And then I got to go through the carburetor. I'm just going to open up the bottom, make sure it's not all gummed up, and hopefully get this thing running, which I still need to get a spark plug, oil filter, and change a couple seals in this. And in the next video, I'll also show you the oil mod that I did with this. Fairly easy. I didn't even use drill press, just a Dremel, and very carefully trim the metal that I needed to. But that's it for this episode. If you have any info or tips on these motors, feel free to leave me a comment. But thanks for watching.